Okay, so I think there's individual fights though. Here it is, Master. On my way to the church earlier, I distinctly heard the sound of a musical instrument around here. At the time, I prioritized meeting with you, but I felt I had to check for my peace of mind. Oh, there's a sound. It got a summer number vibe. That's the word, Master. You should be cautious. There's some magical energy over there. That seems to indicate a hostile reaction. Okay, we will make our way there while avoiding combat as best as we can. Not to mention, this magic reading is... Excalibur. For a moment, it looked like he turned the electric guitar into Excalibur. Using a musical instrument for a weapon, I see. The opposite of Sir Tristan, who performed with his bow. Oh, the Master of Chaldea and his retune. Looks like he had made it in one piece. It blends in perfectly. Yeah, when I found myself transported here, I ended up in this form, and it feels strangely familiar. Maybe when I was summoned elsewhere, I ended up adopting this style. I dare say that I liked it so much that it was engraved into my sync graph. I chosen not to fret over the small stuff. Clothing that suits your body is important, they say, but why are you playing the guitar in a place like this? Right before I knew it, I had been sent over to this region as well. It seems there were some monsters about, so I kept gathering them in one place and moving them down with Excalibur. By changing the guitar into Excalibur, the sound can carry even without an amp. Excalibur is truly outrageous. Anyway, I'm glad you're safe. Ah, but it seems there is no time to rejoice at a reunion. For now, it looks like all the monsters in the vicinity have gathered. Now's where I can mow them down with one stroke. Huh? We don't get your NPC? Fine. Oh, for support, I see. Oh, damn it. Why aren't you using your MP? Eh? What's that blank screen? These are all plans.
逆説融合かけらを集めてさなぎは蝶に変身する。お待たせマスター、これが私の究極体、アトムに暮らす無理やグッド。戦がうまいな。見ていてくれますか。1、2、3。いけない。着物にゴミがついちゃいました。はーい、パッパッ。一体。
At the moment, I'm using this music venue for a base. So I feel rather comfortable. Maybe I have some history with the place. I see that I enjoy music as well, not only heroic tales. Very. In my time, there was no shortage of troubadours. Stories and music were rather inseparable components. Troubadours, even the legends of King Arthur and the Knights of Round Table were spreading as songs in that time, weren't they? I suppose they sometimes turn into songs like you know them today, but oftentimes it was only a matter of speaking along with the music. The main point was that the sound should help stir the soul. The soul. Speaking about the soul in front of a magus might cause the nuance to change, but a heroic epic is basically a reenactment of the humanity. It only truly comes together when it stirs more than the five senses, but a soul on top of that. However, that's impossible in practice, which is why the troubadours of old tried as well as they could, attempting to shake the soul with poetry and music. All of that combined is what weaves a heroic tale, even if it differs from historical fact. I believe that's the truth, strictly speaking, exists only in the place at that moment. But I enjoy the passion that strives to get close to that truth. I even like creating wonderful stories that obscure this truth. If I was king in this time, I might have had the majority of nations' budget spent not on war, but on making movies about the Round Table. You might end up a tyrant if you went about it even slightly wrong. Incorporating historical figures into works of art, Shakespeare has created several such works. Henry VI, modeled after the King of England, and Julius Caesar, which focused on Brutus. And what is it? Oh, it's nothing. I just recalled that Dumas, whom we met earlier, also tends to use real-life heroes as subjects. Well, is there a writer in the city? I definitely like to meet them later on. I use this place on base for a while and hunt monsters by drawing more of them in. If you need a hand with anything, give me a shout anytime. Unfortunately, I can't use Holy Lance here, but I can at least take the lead with charging into the enemy lines. Also, you can't use the lance anymore. What happened? Senpai. It's only in Shakespeare works there is a piece that centers our particular king himself. Is titled King John, if you mean the story of John Lackland, Richard's brother. Whoa, where'd he come from? Where have you been all this time? I'll have you know that if he suddenly shot something like Excalibur again, I really die. Right now, I'm only a simple magus without a servant. I could die simply by being punished by a heroic spirit. Can you believe that? It is amazing that you can bring it up with such a confidence. But enough about me. As you might know, King Richard's brother John was world famous as a failing king. Of course, being burdened by his brother Richard with war debts plays a part, but that's another story. Even among Shakespeare's work, he's treated not so much as a charismatic king, but as a lonely man, both fate by pressure and fate. Whether such a man was ultimately saved through death, I suppose is up to the reader's side. And don't you find it mean of the play to make the Lionheart illegitimate son hog the spotlight in every major scene? Mash made the right call, walking on eggshells there. From the way little Lionheart told it, he seems like he also cared for his younger brother. I think that particular work is a masterpiece as a tragedy, one that depicts the loneliness of one king and the turbulence of the times. However, I held back from speaking about it in front of Richard, who's a direct family member. I feel like Lionheart wouldn't mind even if he read it. I mean, I doubt he'd be slicing Shakespeare up with sinister smile. As he finished reading, he shouts the book with a "From this time, this hardcover shall be Excalibur," and with a beaming face, blam goes the no phantasm. That is sure a real image. I don't really want to imagine it very much. Oh, there's John. The clock tower's intellect bringing in the light, his unyielding spirit, will set the world right. No Thunder Duke, modern magecraft Master V, put in search with the beats of bravery. Emily, to spare the name of my mediocrity, do a 2 at the end. Why don't it escape his sight, make us through the storms and beyond? Emily II. Dun 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 bum. Hey, Episode 2, the Great Big Ben Legend Star Arc. Oh, you scared me. Huh, Mr. Jack, weren't you heading out on your patrol? Are you our mummy? What happened to you, Mr. Jack? What brought this on all of a sudden? By our, does that mean you're not alone? Huh? The flow of magic energy feels off, and it's not even connected to my command spells. Does that mean... Maybe you can't hear us, or maybe you don't understand the words. We'll ask you again, okay? Are you our mummy? Wait, is this the kind of situation where you die if you say the wrong answer? But I can see that it's best to answer without fear. You and I are children connected by the lineage of the mitochondrial mother. No, not what it's called. So rather than your mummy, are we more like siblings? Sure, if you're Jack the Ripper. Then since I was born later, I'm your little brother, big sis. Little brother, so does that mean that you want to become part of us? Feels like I stepped on a different trap altogether. Pardon me, he is my master. If he did you any discourtesy, I will apologize for it. Oh, it's the male Jack and the female Jack. We believe that we are the real ones. If you were us, you understand what that means, right? If you meet yourself, kill yourself. In order to prove we are who we are. Wait, huh? Mr. Jack. It's basically Assassin Jack versus Chaldea Jack, probably. Oh, I guess we're using the Chaldea Jack then. That's Vlad's Jack. Evasion.
切るね。うん。恋よりは地獄。私たちは炎、雨、力、成り上がりした。や解体するよ。じゃあね、こっち。じゃあね。
I came as soon as I got to the comm. I will be grateful if you might see the reason this far through. That is strange. You're us, but not us. You can become us, but you don't choose us. No, you definitely can't choose any form of us. That's how you're defined. You're no one. You're Jack the Ripper, but you cannot become Jack the Ripper. So you won't be in the way of us proving ourselves. I'm hungry, Master. I'm gonna go outside and cut up enemies. Well, thank you, you're a lifesaver. Good grief, the moment I learned that I was in Korea, I knew this would happen in due time. It was more peaceful than expected, so that is some relief. Are you doing okay, Mr. Jack? Of course, I haven't suffered any grievous wounds. They probably only showed up to see what kind of being I am. No, I don't mean that. I was just wondering whether or not what that girl said at the end pained you. At heart, you're friendly and easily approachable, Master, but at times you can be particularly insensitive. It's just as well that I can make clear to the Master of Korea that what manner of existence I am. I am Jack the Ripper, materialized as a berserker. As someone who was originally regarded as a symbol of madness, the inversion particular to class allows me to converse sanely like so. I am a saint grand form from the accumulation of people's curiosity and suspicion directed at the name Jack the Ripper. Therefore, I entered the Holy Grail War with the desire to know my true identity. And she is right. If I were to define myself as one and only Jack, that very Jack would simply absorb me in that moment. Most likely, the next time I am ever summoned as a berserker, a new me seeking to know my true self will be summoned. An existence that knows not what it is, that is what I am. A ridiculous tale is not. Oh, come on. Didn't I tell you already, Mr. Jack? That identifying side of you is what makes you super cool. As you have been heard, messenger from Chaldea. There exists a master who affirms me, even if for such a childish region. At the very least, while I am summoned here, I intend to stay true to my unidentified self, for his sake. Therefore, I will no longer be in conflict with your Jack. You may rest assured on that matter. I appreciate that you didn't repudiate our Jack. It seems that kind-heartedness is a trait you hold in common as masters. We Jack the Rippers, the end results of a serial murder, seems to share undue good fortune. Please take care of the Jack from your world as well. Even if this meeting fades away with the resolution of the singularity, I can pray that hope I hold in my heart will not disappear. It'll work out. Even if the memories of the singularities are gone, the people of Chaldea, their master especially, will remember for sure. I'll even promise to fully describe you to in my reports. You will please make me out to be extra stylish, like out of a Japanese light novel. You don't have to listen to this nonsense. However, I would also look forward to it. If the me that you see is to be engraved within Chaldea's data, that too will be a pleasure. You mean your other form? Yeah, the user. No, you can't use hip with highlight, I guess. I could use Typhon though. All things considered, it's a strange feeling to not see a single car running on such a major street. Man, if it weren't for this storm, we could lie down in the middle of the road and make rainbow angels. While can cast magecraft to ward off rain and wind, something to let you lie on a wet road and stay dry, that's another story. That said, it's better not to show too much vulnerability, not taking the storm into account. There's an easy atmosphere. Alright, there's other things to be wary of besides the fake crusade, so you got all the reasons to worry. Anyway, the most unusual thing of all was the giant tree that sprouted right in the middle of the city. It doesn't sway, even while exposed to the storm. Burning or trying to wither it does no good either. If the topic is plants, wouldn't it be best to ask Enkidu? Of course I asked. As it turns out, Enkidu went to see it before even joining up Denhead. Why don't we talk things out with it before cutting it down to say about it? A fluffy but dangerous doll who can talk to forests really operates on a different wavelength. And here we are, the great tree. This is not a single tree with a thick trunk like a fancy tree, but rather in a shape that seems to be wound around a large building. Well, Spawn, this building is the city's tallest, combining a hotel and a casino. And in its deepest basement, you'll find the Greater Grill. Don't you think it's the perfect location for the core of the city, a conspiracy where the highest and lowest points converge in one spot? Though now, it's being treated like a cheap bootleg of your fun fancy tree. Let's not waste time cutting it down. Long live Paul Bunyan. Huh? Paul's? I don't even see Paul. Cutting it down would likely result in the building's total collapse. Look, you got nothing to fuss about. It's a dream as well as a singularity, right? Whatever you do, things will go back to normal. At least assuming it gets resolved. If the singularity is corrected, things will go back the way they were, so even you guys can get away with guessing a subway or two. No, not even once. Certainly, by looking at size alone, it seems tough. But compared to felling a fancy tree, I feel like we might be able to manage. Hello, JP-rKyECtnz. Shall we try giving it a poke with my lance? Let's not half-hearted attacks will only bring down divine punishment. Divine punishment. Yeah, divine punishment on anyone who harms this tree. What's wrong? Wait, you're kidding, right? It's never been like this. Having too many hero spirits near is already a false pass. Everybody, we better skedaddle. It's something from the sky. Let's go Langa. How many times do we have to teach this cow a lesson? It's Istur's cow.
さらわれてください。カメは上に着物のシミになっちゃえ。
そうか。ふふふ。なんだ。えい。
えー、
冷やしてやろう。陽気だぞ。もう終わりか。なんだつまらぬな。
somehow we managed to fend it off. But just now, that looked like Lana's like, what is the bowl of heaven doing here? Who cares why? Believe me, I'm just as a surprise. When I tried by myself, it was Zeus lightning. That doesn't make it the actual Zeus or Gugalana. It's only part of his divine spirit energy that is artificially emerging. Haha, I still pretty funny. Even gods that appear in a fake city ends up in a fake Indian. So in that vein, they can be copied and made to repair as much as once. What's so many of them? More legs? Subject has returned to the sky and disappeared. It seems like a mass of magical energy that materialized only within given range. In the sky over this big snowfield, you'll still find the immense energy from the divine spirits brought up before. As long as it stays on the defense, it'll be impossible to either wither or cut down the great tree. As long as they in defense, it'll be impossible to either wither or cut down the great tree. Hehe, I think infiltrating the insides itself will be just as much as a challenge, don't you? So what do you do, Korea? Let's see what you got. If you think you can conquer it, you're welcome to try. Show the impenetrable S rank Great Tree Dungeon. What for? Please stop jumping back into Mastermind's mode, as though you're doing so slippery. Please stop jumping back into Mastermind's mode, as though you're doing so slip your mind. Though if that's the case, doesn't mean we need to risk the spell of divine errors from the sky. In the worst case, wouldn't that be more difficult than cutting down an oversized tree? Are you feeling unwell? Though if that's the case, does it mean we need to first expel the divine airs from the sky? In the worst case, wouldn't that be more difficult than cutting down an oversized tree? Are you feeling alright? First, we should probably investigate why the divine spirit energy is protecting Great Tree. It was simply a system restart, like ritual, that continues function, then we are only needed to derail it. The tricky part is if someone is protecting the tree with one stand. What? Why is everyone looking my way? I'm committed to going into master my mode a minute ago. I admit going into mastermind mode a minute ago, but this isn't my doing. Surely there is not going to be a punchline like fool, of course. L would be the final boss. Surely there's not going to be a punchline like fool, of course I would be the final boss. It's not set up, okay? Will you trust me? Take the opportunity to learn from this anyone else. It looks out of work criminals. It seems difficult to judge people for their habits in Chaldea. It seems difficult to judge people for their habits in Chaldea. Yeah, it'd be tacky to call out people who pursue evil of their own free will. It's precisely because you accept those ways of being that Chaldea has been able to come so far. It's precisely because of you accept those ways of being that Chaldea has been able to come so far. That's what I believe. Suddenly he tried to look knowledgeable and mirrorize it as an event and a fit if you were. Isn't this a person the kind who never feels remorse? Isn't the person the kind who never remorse master? Not so fast. My role is essentially encourage both good and evil, without a distinction. That's how a remnant of Ate would be anyway. Whether someone is good or evil, whether the disparity of structure is waiting with humanity. Good. So as long as they don't start proposing their humanity. So long as they don't start proposing to renounce their humanity. In any case, the analysis is complete. It's very safe to say the matter energy filling the sky is at a level that could consider divine. It's very safe to say the magical energy filling is in a story. Hardly any resource being committed to that counterattack. That's probably why you were able to repel it. In other words, most of the divine spirit energy is being bounded by the first edition. From the field's fence. Down the field defense. Who's that? Why limit? Why grief? You who are nothing more than a remnant. We are old soldiers. We are burned out sparks. We are the dead. Were we the source of a muddy, dried up stream? In the heavens from which the mistress had dropped what more is there to ponder? Afterlight, a pitiful afterlight. This place is a canyon outside Snowfield. A lingering aura of divinity, probably the Holy Grail, or keeps continuing with my current memories. Pale Rider. But this place. Hippolyte. Oh, Penvensilia, you crossed over safe and sound. I wanted to answer a question, my sister. How much did you know about what was happening? When that woman transformed into Goddess Ate, you had a look on your face as though you anticipated it. And at the moment Master was caught by the illusion of the trickster in guise of the Lionheart, your behavior was also odd. I won't deny it was. Your doubts are only natural. I am not someone adept at logical reasoning, like the strategist or Detective Claudia has. Therefore I will ask directly. Answer me, Hippolyte. Since the start of this, was there a time you were not in league with the Prelades? As you're the preceding queen and warrior and my sister, you deserve to be held in the highest esteem. However, I am also now the queen of Amazons, and it is with that pride that I have entrusted my Graph to Claudia. So if you intend to act against Claudia, no matter who my opponent is, I will not hesitate. A fine glare. That is exactly what makes you Queen of Amazons. Yeah? They're speaking behind him? But it seems the conversation will have to wait. Yes, what an insensitive rebel. You who are still trapped by tyranny, even after losing your lives in Lord. Do not assume that your petty cruelties can stop we two sisters. As it happens, the Black Lion Station corrupted knights in this valley. Then they keep on coming. There's no time to spare for such low-ranking soldiers. First things first, let's head toward the city. I doubt we can have a proper talk here anyway. I doubt we can have a proper talk here anyway. Understood. Where are we? During the Holy Grail War, this was the location of an enemy faction's base. Yet not even a trace of them remains here, not even a signs of battle. If that is the case, then this must indeed be an underworld built from a dream. The underworld, a dream. Yes, and now to answer your questions from earlier, it is true that I have committed misdeeds. This world is probably a dream world, created by a single young girl and a servant, which is Tsubaki and Pale Rider, I guess. And the Holy Grail War I experienced. I say I'm starting to understand. You two have walked quite a twisted path of war, Impolite. As a result, almost certainly because the blood of Aris within me invoked memories of the Holy Grail War from the other worlds. After coming face to face with the goddess Ate, I found all my questions answered. I saw what Prelati and others were working to accomplish. I even saw that Intalk is connected to this dream. They were likely motivated by their own pride and purpose. They were likely motivated by their own pride and purpose. Yet I found myself contemplating the young girl who created this dream. I pictured the people a Snowfield who must exist outside the stream, being tossed around by the war, despite knowing nothing of why. Therefore, doubts arose in me. I thought that if the Master of Korea were involved, perhaps they could be saved. That is why, for a moment, my recognition that the prelates were enemies to be defeated wavered. And in that moment, Master was perfectly caught by their trap. Although the contract we formed was unofficial, I still failed him. Penthelia, your opinions and standing are more just than mine. As Queen of Amazons and Chaldean servant, you may judge me. But if I still have the right to leave behind a wish, please consider the young girl who is the master of the stream. Ugh. A headbutt. Hippolyte, you're far too serious. What? While also possessing the pride and nobility of a queen, you assure this position is a weight dangerously overwhelming. Yet I deeply respect you as a queen. Hippolyte, you're the ideal of the Amazons, far above my medal. Penthelia. I even remember clearly how you frequently looked after myself and Intoa in our infancy. Without showing heroism on anyone in the tribe, you continually saved those living under oppression as a proud warrior. I wish to become someone like my beloved sister, but I could not. How could I be better suited as a queen while constantly a slave to anger that can never abate? But you alone, I hope I will never speak of such doubts again. For you, my lovely sister, are truly the peak we should all aspire to. Penthelia, you're right, and I was mistaken. I'll say this again, as an older sister and not as a queen of the Amazons. Whoa, you've gone strong, Penthelia. I am proud of you. Hippolyte. Last battle, I mistakenly believed that only impressions at this point had lingered. That's why I thought I was being avoided. I would never avoid you. If anything, the thing that makes me enraged. Is that the only depiction of you that spread across the world was of your defeat? What? The factory entrance has shut. Not to worry, Hippolyte. A door that films can be destroyed by a single blow. You again? The Black Lion, impossible. Why is he here? No, wait, that's not him. This Russian, he looks like the Black Lion, but there is something else inside of him. There it is. I found it. I can sense my treasure. The treasure of At-Mate wronged the property of my family. My royal family property is my treasure, nobody else. Adamantite. Indeed. He is a different person. I don't feel the same presence as the one from before. There it is, I found it. I can sense my treasure. The treasure of Adamante. The property of my family. My warrior family. Adamante. Indeed, he is a different person. I don't feel the same pressure as the one from before. This one reeks F small game. Indeed, he is a different person. I don't feel the same pressure as the one from before. This one reeks of a small game. Small game. You're calling me that? Me? Fine, a lowly Amazon. Nothing more than losers dare to call one such as me small game. Profanity, indecency, blasphemy, improperly. Your position as king is guaranteed by the tier arch. Profanity, indecency, blasphemy, improperty. My position as king is guaranteed by the Virac. Yes, not him at all. I am a king. That monster is not here. My treasure, only my treasure should be here. And yet those two are as well. Oh, then both of them are mine. Treasure to be trampled, taken, cherished by me. Such is proof that I am the one true king. Repulsive. How repulsive. Their plan was vile, man, but it's especially unpleasant to see a coupon board like him wearing unpleasant. See. I don't think this character is even in the mobile game yet. The other was a vile man, but it's especially unpleasant to see a commoner boar like him wearing the armor of the formidable Doctor Dream. Unpleasant to see a commoner boar like him wearing the armor of the feature formidable Black Lion. I agree, Hippolyte, let's waste no time reverting. Common, am I? Common, am I? Indecency, blasphemy, impidity. I. Indecency, blasphemy, impiety. Blasted, this power were over. This is the power over. Yes. Behold, this is power. That giant dragon now. Yes, 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 yes. Be trampled like the most monster he did to you. You Amazons shall be super in by now. You Amazons shall be subservice while waiting on our teammates. The Amazons shall be subservient to us forever. I see. If that's your understanding, then we have no choice. Nothing more to say. We'll kill you. So much HP. That's crazy. Eat. Dark Portal. Damn, so you got away. Let's hurry and find Master or Mash so we can regroup. Ignoring the smoking in the armor for the time being, it seems the entity known as Black Lion is not something that you can finish off easily.
僕は人間がいいね。よくもやってくれたね。お礼に新しいミッションをプレゼントだよ。メリークリスマス。さあさあ、恒例のボックスじゃないの？クリスマスでもない？なんてこった。
Right his way, Master Mash. I asked the grove foliage to shield us to a degree from the rain and wind. But the footing has become quite poor, so we should take care. For now, get you a tree with firm roots to be our scaffold. Can you wait for a bit? Like a single path gathering together. It won't hold for too long, even though they are trees from our out of dream. I can't push them too hard. Around here it should be fine, I think. We came because you called us here. Right, I follow the underground route system all the way from these woods. And I was able to connect with that great tree in the city center. And you're alright. Yes, I carefully integrated with the roots. And it proceeded while avoiding being designated combative. But I expected we can at least manage some conversation with the other end. So does that mean Great Tree have intelligence and the will to communicate? Yes, exactly. Using the forest roots and biomedic materials, we can simulate body for its main form. It's only temporary, but I think we can hold a dialogue. Stand back a little. Typhon. I thought I told you to flee, you fools of Chaldea. I can't believe you even trespassed into someone else's dream, as arrogant as ever. Your sinfulness knows no bound. It is you, Airformos. What the? What's going on, Techno Advisor? Huh? Why are you so confused? Huh? Is it surprising that I'm still alive? Does it get Chaldea pennies in a bunch? I also thought I would have been completely wiped out. Unluckily for you, I misjudged my own draconic resilience. Thanks to that, now I'm in this state, being treated as a source of magical energy for lowly humans. It seems like it will be cause confusion, so I tamper with the comms line for now. We can hear her voice, but our voices have been cut off. What on earth, seeing as she is second summon copy? How does she seem to know about us? I tried contacting the Empress of Korea, but she's not anywhere to be found. However, a note has been left behind by Yipsun. We share the same graph. It reads, I can't say anything now. I'm sorry. I can't let my big sister in Snowfield know that I exist. So it was her. Plot tummy. And Kid advised me that returning to Korea for now would be best. Typhoon Ephremos. I'm aware as well of the singularity that formed around her. In the wilderness of Entalk, there were dark trees that supplied magic energy to the Black Lion. I was on guard alongside the others, but I was also tasked with analyzing the remnants of magical energy. I deduced there was more to it than miasma. Something from Age of Gods was emitted. After comparing it to Kadia's historical database, it was determined that her power was the closest match. I see that adds up. Judging from her words and action over the comm, there's a discrimination with the timeline. Ephemeros in Snowfield is her past self. It is her state from before Kadia confronted her, shot her down, and reconciled with Yip-Ching's help. So right now, the reason why Ephemeros from Kadia is hiding. I expect they are trying to avoid causing inconsistency in history, which would complicate state of their sync graph. If a mix-up occurs, here is the incident you could potentially fake into until mix-up. If a mix-up occurs here, this incident could potentially end up in a fatal failure. So you're saying that there is a possibility of choosing a bad ending due to the influence of a time traveler from the good ending. She must fearful that like the butterfly is spreading. She must be fearful that like the butterfly, even a slight its deviation will go on spreading. All that I was saying, I doubt your sync graph of Kadia's infamous would disappear due to our actions. But there may be a likelihood that some major trouble could occur over in Snowfield. Mashuki, this communication is set so that only you can hear it. Mash Yuki, this communication is set so that only you can hear it. I'll explain the situation in our detail later on, but play along whatever she says. I'll explain the situation details later on, but play along with whatever she says. Whatever happens, do not mention that she's living happily with her little sister here in Korea. Is that understood? And what's going on? Your behavior taking a total U-turn since a moment ago. Did you come here out to a pity or only to laugh? I guess you have that attitude. I guess you have that fight right either way. I never perish, unable to live. I was unable to transform into anything. I wanted to continue existence. Unable to transform into anything, and continue to exist as daughter being thought at. If we could laugh at you standing here like this, I doubt we would ever have been able to defeat you. Why are you making that face? Could it be no? Number two, that's not possible. There's no way such a wish could come true. I guess. Yes. Guess this is composure. The data entering my mind also gives me a general understanding. The data entering my mind also gives me as a general understanding. Rather, I understood in native what kind of existence she is the moment I confirm. Or rather, I stood in it the kind of existence she is. The moment I confronted her. Typhon as a dragon that even Zeus was sealed in Mount Etna. Fate, it was presented to Typhon as though it were for victory. It was presented in to Typhoon, well as other moves were to him on top. Through the scheme of Morea, the goddess of the fate, it was presented to Typhon as though it were an offering victory. The effect that any wish will fail to be fulfilled. In other words, the opposite of a hogro, a wish reverser. I suppose she is that very fruit sealed together with Typhon, which is acquired consciousness through the epiphysis. All you are is a clay doll formed by some local pantheon. Yes, and am a clay doll. I have excellent affinity with planets. After all, the soil along the rivers. Yes, I am Claydol. I have excellent affinity with planets. After all, the soil along the rivers is puke. Does that mean not have any sarcasm built in? It probably doesn't compete. The Black Lion must have been using the power of ephemera fruit in some fashion. Only because our interests have been aligned. Only because our interests happens to align. With this, I can also take my revenge on all of you. Curse your own PC carelessness for failing to destroy my spirit core completely. Do you, Ephemeros? You can't begin to understand. Where else to be going? You, a wish reverser. Get your own camera to unlock. Hey, tell me, is this that treasure thing people talked about? Well, she's all in chains there, but still claiming to be cooperating with Black Lion or her own free will. You know that what I think that means? She's trying to tell you that she doesn't want help. Okay, Master, you got Bunyan in your caveat right. Go summon her and let's go all out. Brute force will work wonders to chop up the latest one. Go summon her and let it go all out. Brute force will work wonders to chop up the rotten fruit on this ephemeral tree. You damn remnants of Ate, I stayed quiet when I saw you, but you had to push it. Zeus must has been insane to choose exile for your mother unit rather than outright delete her. Why would you provoke her like that, Francis? My mother unit, Ate, never really got along with Typhon C. And as for Ephemeros, she's another one who denies the human desires, who protect it because there's no. It needs a PV though. And as for Ephemeros, she's another one who denies the human desires. I appreciate so much, so we don't. Exactly, click. I don't care to hear that from you, who presides over menace and folly. Looks like this ends our talk. My boughs and leaves have taken notice of you people. Master, I don't have much to offer for fighting prowess, so don't expect anything from me.
逆説融合かけらを集めてさなぎは蝶に変身する。お待たせマスター、これが私の究極体アトムに暮らす無理やグッド。
もう終わりか。なんだつまらぬな。
We should go no further. They're starting to shut down. Over there. Erotic incident. Your own wish reversing function are working to eliminate the elements that could save you. Be quiet, Clay Doll. I don't need to be told by you. You can't even make wishes of your own. Master Chaldea, I'll leave one last piece of advice with you. Struggle as much as you can. Try your best to escape. In this place, you'll find nothing you could desire. That ends the conversation. The route has been completely closed. However, I know where she is. She's deep beneath the giant tree, the building that used to be named Crystal Hill. Originally, it was a place where the mud of the Greater Grail was stored. The problem is, in order to get there, we'll have to break through the god's protection first. Eh? Oh, now it goes to part 2. It sounds as though we've gathered intelligence to some extent. Never expected ephemeral fruit to factor into this. To deny her own wish for freedom, her own branches are obstructing us, who've been working to defeat the Black Lion. If matters aren't bad enough, the sky is saturated with energy from a divine spirit dating back to the age of gods protecting the ephemeral tree. And as if to deliver the knockout blow, there is a reservoir of the Holy Grail magical energy. Moreover, in a state of malagement contamination. How could something so ridiculous even happen? The contamination must have been known about from the start. Why would anyone consider propagating that crap in the United States? It seems the so-called Snowfield Holy Grail War doubled down on one accession after the next, completely outside the bounds of common sense. Flat Escaritos playing the part of a master being another example. Ah, you're making me blush over here. What do you think, Mr. Prelati? You deserve it. The approval of Clock Tower is no joke. It's not praise either. Regardless, it does no good laying down blame. Whether your rule functions properly after the singularity is corrected is your problem to fix. When it does turn back, I hear the memories of this place will be erased, but I'll be fine since the first thing I do is call you Professor. I was thinking that I shouldn't always rely on you. But if the world really is in danger, I'll at least ask for a consultation. I wish you would have shown that kind of attitude before even participating in Holy Grail War. Oh, that's right. You said I handed a callus over to you. Really, what was the me over there thinking? Has the Grand Magus replaced me with one of her dolls? Guess it doesn't matter. I'll leave the original troubles to your version of me. For now, I'll need to devote myself fully to correcting the singularity. The sheer power alone, gathering in the dream of a single girl, is enough of a threat. But the fact that it makes up a singularity means that, if left unchecked, it's certain to affect human history. There's already no trace of Black Lion on your end, or intel, only there is one thing that doesn't add up. Care to explain to everyone, Arash? Arash? Of course! Constantine and I checked around Entalk for a while to see how things stood, but something about it felt off. A creation of the siege of Entalk carrying over from history. It was intriguing to me as well, but it certainly is odd. From the stories I heard beforehand, I had the impression that it was more crowded somewhat with people. Even taking into account the damage from previous battles, it's more uninhabitable than I imagined. Yeah, particularly in that there have been soldiers and civilians from various areas, but from what I saw, that's not the case. Their clothing only looked like it was from a uniform time period and region, still, other than that, is perfectly peaceful. The remaining townspeople are also quiet to an unusual degree. It doesn't feel like they were attacked by a great army which happened to be fended out. Thanks, you two. I want you to keep on observing the singularity over there, like you've been doing. Was that singularity not something only created over there by the mastermind duo? In that case, could it be that all the urban residents were mere illusion as well? No, they are shadows that Francisca put together when producing intel for singularity. I guess they are like NPC from Chaldea's simulator. I think they'll disappear with the singularity if it terminates in due time. Then what about those people dressed in various styles from different times? That honestly I don't know either. You saw it too, didn't you, Yuki? In that land, cities from different time periods had been destroyed. That wasn't anything we could have either. Anything can happen in a singular connected to a dream world. I guess it's possible for it to be influenced by powerful someone within. So throwing out a guess, I think maybe all the stuff like that was the Black Lion's handiwork. The Black Lion did it. I don't know, he pulled it off, but the guy was using the power of the ephemeral fruit. During the final battle in the wasteland, all those soldiers from different eras, they were all wishing for things, right? The words were different, but in short, it was for liberation from oppression, or perhaps the overthrow of a tyrant. Enough, I heard enough. Why did you have to do that to my family? All because I recorded history of another country. Damn it, who cares about the Tower of Mota? The soldiers are people of Romano. Carcala, I won't be afraid of you anymore. Now's the time to take revenge for everyone from Alexandria. That's right, I won't give to tyrant oppression ever again. Now we can surely win, no matter who the opponent is. If that was true, it makes sense as the source for the infinity welling magical energy, though there are still some puzzling aspects. If it's not a type of illusion, then the question is how they manifest soldiers and civilians from spread of different times by whatever mean it was. However, as much as the how do it is unclear, it makes for a convincing why done it. For now, it's enough to keep it in the back of our minds. The immediate concern is how to break through the divine spirit bounded by field projection. The canopy of the ephemeral fruit, this great ephemeral tree. Even if we can withstand the interception over our heads, what's the likelihood that our offensive can break through the bounded field? We have Enkidu, Hippolyte, Pamphylia, and Gareth to rely on. In particular, if Gareth also receives support from Richard, the enhancement we saw before might happen again. I wonder, the phantasm of the Holy Land seems to be something unique to Antioch. Nonetheless, even without that, Gareth no phantasm is certainly reliable in terms of crashing through walls. A single blow from low Gareth, eh? I'll give you that, if it were the critical hit dealt by to the Black Lion. If its protection derived from the Black Lion, maybe the hit counts for special damage. Kind of think of it. Why was the Black Lion King Richard alternate St. Graf so surprised when he saw me? At first I think he called me decrepit or something. Did I really fight in a way that seems infirm? Oh, you got my illusions to thank for that. I show one of the Black Lions that made use of the leftover Holy Grail resource to disguise your appearance. I made you look like an old knight of similar height and related to the round table based on data from Chaldea. Maybe don't quack say. I'm humbled to imitate someone who looks to have such a wealth. of experience. Why would you even do such a thing? I suppose it was the influence of the Black Lion, but you heard how the number of servants who could reach it from Korea was extremely limited. We have Hippolyte, who presents I don't whether to take credit for, or if she's only a random rogue servant. Due to her influence, it makes sense how the literary relay Penvisilia had abdicated. Same goes for Hassan, with 100 face pulled in by the assassin with no name. As for Mash, I suppose she was drawn in by her master, or maybe her connection to the round table was simply unknown. Now Gareth's case is one I can't wrap my head around. I heard that the round table's companion for this relationship was the total bust. Since there must be some shenanigan going on, let's keep her as a trump card. Francisco told me that. Perhaps from the perspective of a god like Ate, she could see something deeper in her than I could. Until she unsummons without telling me, honestly, even for my ilk, I caused no end of trouble. We mustn't assume it to be without reason. Extremely low. It's fine. We had better investigate the Black Lion more, truly. Good idea. If he was making use of Emperor Mirror Fruit, then it should give us a hint about what he was wishing for. However, keep in mind that you're in an unstable space, an underworld shaped by dreams. Before anything goes awry, we'll need to investigate both quickly and carefully, so as not to disturb the world. Sounds like from here on, we're not gathering information. We're doing no knock raids. Hey, that's the police officer uniform for the city. It actually suits you surprisingly well. Wasn't Francis here a minute ago? Not even close, dummy. That was me. You get it? At least living with it looks fun. In seeing what direction things are going, I'll say it, here in the state of Nevada, it's also a crime to dress up as a police officer. Oh man, and I thought I'd be getting police missing code. I knew it. I thought you were eyeing it with a greedy expression. A cop, huh? Showing up in that outfit in front of me, you sure ain't changed your tune one bit, damn it. Hey, yeah, your Master Dumas was that police squad, wasn't it? Most of the bunch kicked the bucket, though. I don't know if they'll come back to life with a singular fix. But in the interest of my bro and Sibs waiting for me outside this stream, I gotta put some effort into trying. So on that note, I'll go whip up some gerb. You should drop by the cop shop later on. Also bring some folks from Korea who can cook something. It'd be nice to get some help in the kitchen. When did this become a cook-off? Chill out. It ain't to decide who's the kitchen king or anything like that. Not trying to be all starchy neither. My no-phantasm is a bit special is all. In order to give you your guys the best support I can, I gotta get to know you all as best I can. And yeah, as for me, I got this thing where interacting over food is the best way for me to really know someone. Or maybe he's only out to eat something exotic. I say it ain't a contest, but I appreciate if they took it serious and put their best into it. Wonder how far I can respond in kind. Being motivational is a two-way street. You should be careful, you know? Demas is type your prioritize gourmet food over his own life. Serve anything that tastes bad, and he might soak in bed, even if the world cracks in half. I got no time for soaking in bed. Least way not in midst of a harsh journey to save the world. Yeah, I will complain whether it's simple food or an army ration. Even if it's leftover, I'll put in minimum work. Just don't go cooking for real, only to present crap. The one thing I want to be spared is being told that eating vapor every day is okay for a magus. Got it, I'll ask everyone to give it their all. Nice, you seem pretty confident, huh? Haha, now I'm getting fired up. Sounds good, so while Demas is preparing supper on his own, let's try to trace the background of the Black Lion. First of all, let's go to the place where he was summoned. Our running theory is that the Black Lion got summoned in one of the tourist locals in Snowfield, the Opera House. The same place as Richard, huh? The Opera House is just ahead. Originally, I intended to have King Arthur summoned as a saber. It was meant to call back to Japan's Holy Grail War, which we based this on. And Kido in King Arthur, you got expensive taste. Yeah, I really have no idea what's up with that. You could say he forcibly intervened to be here. At all, but do I need to say more? Okay, now it's clicking. The foundation I laid out for the Grail War was crooked from its inception. So he's the extra factor that brought out that servant as a ruler, when we are not supposed to have one. To be honest, I'm starting to doubt whether the Black Line really is another Graph of Richard's. While Enkidu search for Hippolyte and company, the Pre-Light Detective Agency is going to get to the bottom of this mystery. I think we'll pass on the detective team, which would prefer to spice up the mysteries. That aside, I've been making calls to the cook servants on hand here. Speaking of which, a direct acquaintance of Demas was in Chaldea. Oh, the communication line. May I ask one thing? About what? I want you to believe that I haven't betrayed you, or that I'm leading you into any kind of trap. We're surrounded by something. The communications were probably cut because of that. More of these shadow servants. Fake crusaders. They're not bows or leaves from the imperial route. But weren't the troops around Entok all taken over by the gods Ate? All because they're here. Chaldea. Treasure. I sense treasure. You have some, don't you? Treasure. A king. Yes, we're a king. The king. You must be hoarding some treasure. That should be mine by right, are you not? But somehow something isn't right. But black lion. Lion. Black lion, am I? That I would be the wretched swine. Foolish cretinous and monochrome lions are simply beasts with naught to offer me but their pelts. In pity, can't you tell the difference between a true king and a beast crawling in the mud? If I but give the command, even a lion wearing boots, serving a god, will have his carcass delivered to me. When facing my country, even the immortal Hydra, with his venom that rends the divine, will be rendered a farm for harvesting snakeskin. Ha 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 ha. Yes, that's exactly right. I will grant you the happiness of bowing before your king. You shall have rewards, glory, wealth. Take any slaves you like, men, women, old. Take anything but lands or titles. In the name of great Zeus, I am the king who rules the world. For this reason, you must obey, lay down your swords, bring forth your treasures, surrender your children, give up your very lives. He's no Black Lion. The person inside is someone else. I will brook no disobedience. Take relief and prostrate yourselves to abandon thoughts like good little bugs. Obey your king. Obey even as corpses. Like we guessed, he's a different person. The Black Lion was a merciless tyrant, to be sure, but... Here he comes, master. Get behind me. Eh? Does he have two personalities?
我純白の鼓動を持って大素流に請願す。戦闘の神サンダースキの最小なる武者の世界を打ち砕け。うん。
Eh? The previous was John.
カズラチャラちゃんとできます。顕微鏡でも見えない大きさに変えられると思う。できちゃうんだなこれが。さあ光より早くアトムムクロスメリアンフット。お友達が欲しいんですね。誰も見たことのない世界に。顕微鏡でも見えない大きさに変えられると思う。できちゃうんだなこれが。さあ光より早くアトムムクロスメリアンフット。
立ち上がれ。まだ早い。ここで終わることは許さんぞ。
Now I see. As expected of those who best the Black Lion. I will praise you for that, for driving a spirit core from this mighty armor, that is. This armor is now my treasure, as is only natural. A king is granted power precisely because it is granted to him he is a king. Even without lifting a finger, everything falls into my hands, king. Monarch royal, yes, that is a king. Those who boast of talent, effort, or military prowess are at that point puny cavalry barbarous, unfit to be king. The fate of those such as that is to be corpses, soldiers who do not speak are truly unworldly free. How do you like them? This is a king. Do they not suit me? I was here occupied in sleep, and without any effort, these creatures became my possession, you see. I permit you invite me, show me jealousy, blanch with fear, offer me praise, surrender all hope. I tolerate, I permit, I allow. To allow is a prerogative for those in the highest position. Such is the right that can only be exercised, because one is a king. I once more have been permitted by the gods to be a king. Oh, not these guys again. Master. Senpai. Master. He split us up. So many of these NPCs. Hey, this way. What are you doing? Have you got a death wish? Who is he? Senpai, alright. Senpai, please respond. Master. Wondering where you are. It's the opera house. I heard it has history going back decades, but compared to the Royal Opera House in London, it's practically pristine. So I guess the other has been rebuilt. I understand. The vintage piece only make up a small portion. Who are you? When asking for introduction, isn't it normal to offer your own name first? Although that can wait until you're calmed down. Can't communicate with your companions. I understand your concern, but take care not to act rashly. If you're found before meeting back up, it's all over. Besides, rather than moving around in the storm, isn't it better to wait here for them to find you? You're a master, right? Sometimes masters themselves can be as strong as your spirits, but you were summoning shadows of a hero spirit to fight. With that style of fighting, you'll end up threadbare without any allies. For now, anyway, you should catch your breath. I'm Yuki, a master from Korea. I see, I'm sons, and allies, of course. You need an allies? Of course I do, haven't you? We only just met. I suppose you probably already figured out that I'm a servant, haven't you? Whether or not it turns into singularity, there's no way someone would casually divulge their true name in the middle of a Holy Grail War. That's not normal, though. I said too much, didn't I? You might say I am one of the servants who participate in it. You're not working with the other servants? Do fight scenes look like my specialty? My master is nowhere to be found in this dream world either. All I've been doing is sneaking about. You look as though you were working with Prelati's entourage. Ah, so my pompous explanation earlier didn't even matter with you. Those two, I can't tell which one is the servant, but they were shouting their true name back and forth, with the Holy Grail War raging around them. Damn it. That guy Flat was even calling his partner Mr. Jack like it was a normal. It didn't seem like a sentiment either. Even that writer who died partway through the war was openly announcing herself as Hippolyte. It's supposed to be a Holy Grail War. Aren't we meant to be keeping one another's information as secret as we're able? Am I the only one who wrong? Is it me? It's not a normal Holy Grail War. There is no rule without exception. You better not act like saying it with a serious face. Helps you get away with it. I mean, why are you even trying to go along with Prelati's people? To be honest, I can't believe you can get anything done alongside such shady shorts. Do you know who Prelati is? The devil summoning alchemist who was sacrificing children along with some knaves named Gilles de Rise. Aren't you at all concerned about being betrayed or backstabbed? No, even if you're guaranteed to be safe. Nobody would normally work with a person like that. Give me a rest. Being the master of Korea means you're going around erasing singularities, aren't you? You're working to save humanity from destruction, correct? That's why I'm naturally assumed. Someone more like level-headed like Odysseus or Caro de Grobe. He's playable, but he's stuck in Extella. He's only trying to main right now. No rules in Holy Grail War. Wait, I mean, I don't mean to disparage you, but I guess it's understandable if you take it that way. Forgive me. But it is completely removed from the common sense of Magi that I know. Same goes for that guy Flat. I picture an elite from Korea as a magus from a competent family, composed and ruthless above all. You're probably referring to the A-team. You might have been the kind to raise a country or two lacking all emotion for the good of humanity's survival. But then, if you're not only erasing singularities, but even lost spells, what you do goes far beyond countries. You're not wrong. I'm sorry, that was me at my absolute worst. It wasn't something I should have casually pointed out. You're not someone who can sacrifice without emotion, be it a country or even a single person. I'm clueless, but not enough to miss that. I see. Who is it but me that's lacking common sense? Some heartless Maggie managed to scrape by on charisma alone, but what do I have to do for myself? I couldn't say. I had a feeling, but you're not really a Magus to begin with, are you? How was that a commoner? Sorry, that was a slip of the tongue. How was it that such an ordinary person ended up the last master of humanity? Because Solomon like bombed everyone and we were the only one left. I wonder the same thing. Recruit in your city. Is County run by madmen? No, because we were the only one left. Because everyone else got killed by the bomb. But why? Why don't you run away, bearing the weight of the human order and all that? Honestly, I couldn't do it. I would rave about why I had to go through all that, then spit on Cody and the world as I ran off. So how is it that you can keep fighting? That's a bit like asking, why are you still alive? So because you don't want to die. Is that fine with you, to save the world for a reason like that? Well, that's fair. If you don't do it, you'll end up dying anyway. People don't want to die, that is normal. Sorry, that is not more of no reason. No, you convinced me. Certainly I don't feel your motives or the sort that Troubadours often sings heroic reasons. But precisely for that, I will support you, honestly. I even felt a bit of respect there. It is completely the opposite of my own kin. Right, I had a few older brothers, an exceptionally reckless one among them. He grew up listening to tales of heroes since boyhood and yearning for them. He seems to be trying to become a hero himself. He wasn't afraid of dying, in the slightest. Why? For example, whenever talking about St. George's, my brother would always speak joyfully of dragon slaying tales. I, on the other hand, would focus on the episodes where he was tortured on the wheel or executed after countless torments. I am twisted in my own way, but my brother truly didn't care about the negative side. A foolish brother, yes, truly foolish. Which is why I could never forgive them. Of course, I couldn't forgive such foolish brother, nor the rebel who trapped him in the curse of being a hero. I couldn't forgive the people who twisted his humanity, forced him into a mold, and used him in their politics and commerce. Eventually, it became a shackle on him. They embedded it into a world, disregarding truths and falsehoods. Every epic myth, legend, piece of folklore, effectively all the so-called stories. My brother was bound by that curse, which is why he lived in such a distorted way. And even after he soiled his hand with unforgivable sins, the masses, the foolish rebels, still held him a hero. Their voices turned my brother into something inhuman, a monster. They transformed him into a beast that fears neither his own sins nor death. My mother probably meant to use heroes as a mode to contain him, given that he had taste for danger. But it was all wrong. From my standpoint, that very mode is what my brother's a true monster. Therefore, I cannot forgive the troubadours who arrogantly chronicle the triumphs of heroes, or the uncountable epics that the ignorant masses recklessly proclaim as the sole truth of what kings are. Especially any legends to do with the Round Table. I don't suppose they're brother. Found it, the treasures. Ah, what have we have here? The weak leader of king was with the treasures. But it's too good for you. I will not give the treasure to you, failed king. Lying beneath a more noble king is the treasure, proper place. You who were given no land by the gods, or even by your father, you have no need of it. No matter, Chaldean, you hold the treasure. Treasures called hero spirits, how many? 10, 100, more. How many priceless treasures, weapons called hero spirits do you possess? There's hero spirits who call themselves my swords or tools. Ha 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 ha! Foolish SC9. We're commoners so alien to reason. A hero is an object, if not a monster. Nothing more than a handy tool to be used by a king, until depleted. The god chose humans, allowing them to be kings, and kings choose objects or monsters, allowing them to be heroes. Yes, I am without doubt a tool for the gods, the king. The king recognized by Almighty Zeus, god of thunderbolts in the heavens. I am tool held in the hands of the great goddess Hera. Therefore my will is equal to the will of the great Hera. Now hand them over at once. Hand over the treasures. Bring forth the heroes who are tools for the king. Must I peel the command spells from your hand, skin and all? Must I snatch that leather-bound case you hold so dearly? Or must I take everything from the neck up, just as the ancestor of my royal family used Medusa's heads as its tool? Oh, what a fine idea. Brilliant ingenious. Yes, yes, Chaldean, I shall make a tool of your head. You should keep back. Sons. Now is your time to become a hero, Chaldean. Present your head, and with my blade, gratefully you shall receive that honor. Of all people among the countless tyrant, you had to be the one to pick up that armor. I am quite the underachiever in my own right, but I find you a very, very worthy competitor there. If there is this. Oh, he's just sitting on his chair. Damn you, royal failure. How despicable, you were still hiding your strength. Is that it, the fruit? The ephemerity planet in the Typhon's in the mall. The Wisp reverser. Curse you, damn you, how are you making use of it? Why does the fruit that denies wish give power to you now? But I will not yield. Not when in the end my victory is assured. I swear by the names of Mother Hera and Father Zeus. Still in one piece. Thanks. Think nothing of it. More importantly, are you sure you want to stand at this distance? You are too close to run away and too far to come at me. I can't imagine you don't have enough wits about you to put 2 and 2 together. It's coming together to an extent. Don't go making that look. You corrected countless singularities. The fact that someone you teamed with for a while turned out to be the mastermind can't be that unusual, can it? Why did you help me out? It is true that I'm wavering as I am now. At least, part of it has to do with being defeated by you all, once at Entog. But being best by Gareth, that's happened twice. In the place you all call the singularity, I get her up. A lot of manner of battlefield corruption. That back line is a result of me striking down a heroic spirits from behind and concentrating the corruption within his neck graph to extreme degree. What heroic spirit? The intended pawn of King of Magecraft for that singularity. The intended pawn? Richard the Lionheart, classic berserker. Oh, a berserker Richard class. But they couldn't do it. I filled his empty shell with corruption, then defiled the entire round table. You people must have heard the outcome from the Sun King. The round table was defiled, their honor, their stores steeped with corruption. Eh? Is that why Gawain was so big, so corrupted back then in Camelot? Gareth was no exception. Yet, there is nothing to tell the other people, sparing no attention. Having obtained the ephemeral fruit, I wish to fight the round table once more. That was what was intended. But it seems that deep in my heart I truly wished not to fight Gareth, which was masterfully turned against me. Which is why only Gareth was compatible. To be honest, I was in despair over myself. Do my flames of vengeance only burn this bright? I wonder if I would stay so useless even after coming so far. I even consider giving up, but the flame of the vengeance that has blazed once cannot be extinguished. I even consider erasing my entire ego to that armor into a perfect vengeful curse. But I was taken over by a frenzied spirit that exploited my moments of weakness. And here you have the result. That is exactly why I wanted to hear your tale. How is it that you can continue your journey even in such desperate straits? Changing the world just because you want to survive is a way of thinking I never had. You could say I had no attachment to life, or to the world. Master Kaoria no Yuki. Following your example, I too will move forward without giving in. As someone who couldn't even become a hero, as one man standing alone, I shall become the enemy. I guess I missed. My blade will reach your spirit core next time. I mean, the other Jack. I see that you're safe, Master Kodio. Alright. Yuki, you're alright. Senpai. Apologies for being late. We heard the commotion outside and now finally met with you. Until only a short while ago, the upper house was surrounded by the fake crusader. Then the siege slipped without a moment's warning. Because Sans defeated the Black Lion's armor. Sans? That's the name of this here spirit with the same synchronograph pattern as the first Black Lion. I suppose no need anymore to use Siderman. I may have talked over much, but I don't regret it. Even if you knew my true name, you'll discover so many weaknesses you won't even know what to go for. So the name Sans Terre is for those who know me practically a true name. Sans Terre. My name is John, King Jung Lackland. Born into the planet house, and the most incompetent king in the world. Mayford.
インフォメーション見たくないなら約できました。ご褒美をあげちゃうね。
6 a.m., which is like 5 for me. 5 a.m. unlock on Mayford. Yep, streams should be finished by now then.